Hi everybody, I hope you prepared your notebooks. Please remember that this isn't a passive course that you're just going to watch. Move your hands with me as we go to get the best results. So let's start with the first letter. And before we do that, I'm gonna put a small line here because this is a guide for us to know where we can write our letters. You don't need to do that, of course, because you're using a notebook. So the first letter we have is Alif, and Alif is simply a stick that we write from top to bottom like this. And then we have Hamza, which is a C tilted upwards, and then don't forget the tail. What you also need to know is that Hamza is like a magic letter. It's not a letter, but it's treated as a letter. It can go over letters, it can be on its own like a letter. However, it isn't a letter on its own in the alphabet. The only place you'll find Hamza in the alphabet is only going to be above Alif. But when you're reading or looking at Arabic text, you're going to find an abundance of Hamza all over the place. We'll discuss it more as we move on through the course. Now, we've wrote Hamza once. Let's do it again. You're supposed to be doing this with me. So, top to bottom, touch the line, and then looks like a C, but it's kind of tilted upwards like this, and then don't forget the tail. Okay, very good. What else do I need to know about Alif? What you need to know is that Alif is connected from the right side only and not from the left side. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is when we need to connect other letters with Alif, they will only connect from the right side. However, if there's a letter after Alif, it will never get connected. Okay, now moving on to the second letter, which is B. B. And this is how we write B. B looks a little bit like a smile or a boat. We start short, we go touch the line, move along, and then put another tip right there, and don't forget the dot. Unlike Alif, B is connected from both sides. Now let's take a couple of examples to see how everything is connected using those two letters together. Now we're making a line to write the words. Okay, so the first word we are writing together is bab. Bab. Okay, so from just listening to it, you know that it's going to be B, Alif, and then B again. So let's start writing this together. Move your hands with me. So we start short like we did before, go down, touch the line, keep going, but then don't put the second tip right there. Don't forget to put B. Now what's happening here? We're not putting the second tip because if we close it like this, then we wouldn't be able to connect anything else to it. So what I do is I leave the door open. The door, this second tip is the door. I leave it open for another letter to get connected. Okay, so B and then Alif. Alif is right there. It's a simple stick, no tip. We just write Alif going up like this. It's a little taller than B. And then what happens with Alif? We need to put another B. So how does that work? You see, the letter Alif isn't connected from the left side. So what do we do here? We leave some space, and then we write B again. But what does it look like now? It's the full form, this form. Why? Because as I said in the introduction, the letters separated look exactly like they do at the end. So this is what it looks like separated, and this is what it looks like at the end. Let's take another example. So the next example here is the word ab. Ab. And ab means father. From just listening to it, you know it's Alif and then B. So how am I going to write that? Simply start Alif there, touch the line, tilted C with the tail, Alif is not connected from the left, leave some space, and then B in its full form because it's the last letter. Okay, the third example is aba, aba. And this is the plural of ab, meaning father. So fathers. Let's start. Aba is alif, b, alif, hamza. Let's take a look at it. So alif there, and then b, we leave some space because it's not connected. But then b is going to be connected, so we don't close the door. We leave it open, and then ba, another alif, and then we put hamza right there. The glottal stop. Ba. Very good. Make sure you write those examples to get your hands moving right away. Now it's time for letter number 3. The third letter, T, looks exactly like B. It's actually the same form, just the same exact letter, but instead of 1 dot underneath, we put 2 dots above. And this looks like a smiley face as well. How can you remember that T has 2 dots above? You can remember it by saying the letter T has 1, 2 arms. Okay? Very good. So how can I connect T? In case you haven't noticed, T and B have the exact same form, so they are both connected the exact same. They look the same in the words. The only difference here is the dots, okay? So let's try to write a word using T. Right, so the word I'm going to write here is tab. Tab. From just listening to it, you can tell that it's T, alif, B. So let's write T just like we would write B. Start short, go down, touch the line, move along the line. Don't close the door. But now the 2 dots, they slightly